But all right, it's time for the region talk, B.
Yes,
Where
sir.
should we start off with this? We have a Potty Mouth
How
response, a
well,
top
so
five Troy response.
so the thing is like how I wanted to do it was like inspired by Potty Mouth, really. Like it's not really a response to them in a way. It was like it is to me it inspired a conversation that we need to have. Yes, some things they had said, I was like, okay,
Got some contention
it
with it.
got some, yeah. And I was like, okay, like we can merge all this together. That's how it's kind of a big topic. Like we can go into like why our regional sounds are so important because I know that, you know, our good friends at Potty Mouth was saying things of like, certain things about regional sounds could be they don't like regional sounds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't want everybody to be making a certain song.
I don't want to say it like this. Does Philadelphia have a regional sound?
Philly had
It
original.
was Freeway and what's that boy's name? Beanie Siegel.
Beanie
was with
Siegel, yeah.
Jay-Z. But like,
that's
does
East.
Philly itself have a? Because I think there's too few Philly artists to where there is no sound for Philly.
Yeah.
Kind of almost like the Midwest, kind of, but they had Jay Dilla to a degree. But with Philly, you have Uzi, you have Meek Mill, two completely different sounds. Freeway and Beanie Siegel, you could kind of put them two together because it was kind of heavily
Then you have
heavily
Black
affiliated
Thought,
with Jay-Z.
Roots. That's a band.
Completely different sound.
So I think Philly was in that space of like actually they can grab from others. I think that's what Dom is because him being in Philly, they have. I'm not from Philly, but I'm just saying I know they can get from Jersey.
Yeah.
Like the Jersey, the dance music.
They're
Then
all
they can
East
grab
Coast.
from the East Coast. You know what I'm saying?
No, they
Like,
are East Coast.
Yeah, I'm saying they East Coast. But I'm saying like when you go East Coast, you think of New York sound.
and
So I'm
New
saying
Jersey to a degree, like with Redman.
yeah, so I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of like this because that's just the extension of New York sound.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like with Philly, them being yes, they East Coast, but they their own state.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pennsylvania, Philly, its own city. You got Baltimore was technically all
the
that.
DMV though.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm saying it's East Coast
I thought half of the DM, like portion of the DMV,
because someone
was
could be the
South.
South as well. Yeah,
Which is why
Virginia,
Pusha T is
Virginia.
kind of weird to like put him with Southern hip hop because he's more so East Coast sounding.
Yeah, and
like
he was
Pharrell.
born in Queens too. So
Oh, yeah.
I think one up there. But my whole thing is, I know they were saying along the lines how like they don't like regional music,
Especially when
anymore.
it becomes gimmicky.
Yeah.
I think the problem with this is like, I don't think it's become gimmicky.
Yeah.
Because the only last time we had a gimmicky sound was Mustard, really.
Yeah, you think so?
Besides Trap, if you want to count that.
I'm gonna say what gimmicky is like. Remember when the whole like, it's like this. You remember when the Uzi was doing the "I Wanna Rock"?
Uh-huh.
Is that more Jersey?
That's Jersey.
But
Club Jersey.
It's like club Jersey stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
When that type of stuff comes out, and then like other people grab it, and it becomes like a little mainstream. I feel like it's things like that. It's like kind of new to the world. Becomes a little gimmicky sometimes, but I feel like everybody have that. Like everybody region has a spotlight. You get what I mean?
I get it to a degree.
Like look.
Keep going.
I want to look. So you got bass music, right? That was like in Miami, Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
It's making a resurgence. Like Netspin's using it. Like those two other guys, I can't think of their name, Jay and Bird. It's a lot of kids like in underground. They kind of use that Atlanta, Miami bass sound, right? That's a regional sound that was back in the '90s, and they bringing it back, right? You have
Netspin?
like Netspin used it in that one song that.
I gotta listen.
But yeah, he used it. Sometimes you can grab from stuff like that. That's why I think it's important. It could be a gimmick, but in the long run, it'll be forgotten. But not for that region. It still holds to that region. But here and now, it added more elements to hip hop and makes it grow. Which an artist like Netspin that's 17 that can use this bass sound. Like
Or
with
kind of like how JT kind of paid homage to Miami by using that sound.
look, New Orleans bounce music. We from Texas. So Louisiana, like New Orleans bounce music was like, in my childhood, I knew about this. But you have a regional sound that it probably became gimmicky at one point. You might have some art, it like became popular because you had the likes of like Cash Money blowing up and using like that bounce, Manny Fresh having that bounce in it. But then you have like, you fast forward 20 years later and you got Drake bringing that element from that regional New
Into
Orleans
modern times.
and putting it into certain songs. Like that part, yes, it could be gimmicky for a moment, but I feel like it adds more core into hip hop, which can add into more
And I
things.
feel like
It's
paying
innovation.
homage.
Yes, it's innovation. That's why I think we need regional sounds. Yes, with social media, we understand that. Oh man, everything you can get this sound, but like a drill music, right, in Chicago is technically different from drill music in Philly, right? Because you gotta understand, this is what I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. It's things that's going on in Philly that's Philly. So regionally, you're gonna connect more because you not only know the streets, you know the hoods, you know this, but it's still one sound. But it inspired more people around the freaking country to make this type of music, but put their own spin on it. Their blocks, they had their own lingo to it. They not just.
I mean, without trap, you wouldn't have drill.
That's what I'm saying. It's regional sounds are very important because it progresses, innovates hip hop. That's all I'm trying to say.
And I want to say, like, for certain things, like, I do agree with you because there's certain instances where Dom was kind of, it was either Dom or Four, shout out to y'all, who was either using it saying, like, oh, like, Hash Cobain, like, you know, got this sound, mixed it with something, and it was something super beautiful, whatever. I think the one time, I don't think it's really gimmicky because I think the few times that people use it, it's more so to pay homage. You kind of have to, especially back then with hip hop, you had to like check in.
Yeah.
You had to actually pay respects to whoever. Because remember T.I. Bring Him Out?
Yeah.
That was such a New York beat. Gucci, Swizz Beatz tried to do that with Gucci Man, with Gucci Time. Try to get him on an East Coast type sounding beat. Even Gucci was like, yo, that didn't work. Like, I ain't T.I. Like, I ain't gonna bring him out. You know, there's certain things where it's like, I think because of regionality, it made us all unique and different. I think one of the problems that we have nowadays, two people that kind of lost their sounds and ways with it. New York and Houston specifically. We can get into that deeper later on, but those are two regions that I feel like I gotten too modernized and too with the sound to where they lost their sound. They lost their grounding. Even though they had such a sound to where...
You think Houston lost their sound?
Houston lost their sound, not subject matter wise, but sound in terms of like, what was Houston back then? That's gone. Okay. Like not even the Houston artists of now are trying to like no one's trying to bring that back in the forefront. Like,
but I'm saying it's still elements from it that's used. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why
I'm
it's so
saying
important.
Something like a Joey, how he went back to the early '90s East Coast hip hop boom bap, brought that back. A$AP Rocky went to '90s, early 2000s Houston, brought that back. Like you get what I'm saying? Yeah. The only gimmicky sound I can think of besides the Club Jersey, even though I never really heard that much, is like I said, the mustard sound, the trap sound. Michael made it a mustard. Those are the only two that really.
And that's
made
and that's like
gimmicky.
with mustard is like the G-funk. It's because everybody was grabbing a mustard beat. You know what I'm saying? So it happens. I feel like certain regions have their moment when it's huge.
And mustard, he innovated on that sound.
Yeah, it's like you just. So what Top 5 was saying was just how you feel that essence. You still feel that essence of the lineage of the music. Like New York. The essence is gone because you feel like each artist that was getting bigger, they was getting further away from like the bigger New York artist was getting further away from the sound
because they moved way more with the time.
Yeah, they was moving further away from the New York sound and more embedded into like what's going on now all across the world.
Remember I said that about Joey. I said, oh, he abandoned that sound from Before the Cash to All American Bad A. I'm like, oh, he abandoned.
Because he had like Static Select the production on the first joint.
And Static Selector, like I feel like. It's weird because now Bun B's going to Static Selector, getting East Coast sounding songs and doing that. Really, the only people from the East Coast that's really making a movement, besides Uzi, is Griselda. But they're not in the forefront of hip hop though. Like they and Rock Marciano, but he's kind of like in that camp as well by association.
But with that being like the thing of like New York still holding that sound and what they like those real hip hop heads in New York, they hold close to the 38 Specials,
to the
like
Ransoms,
the Ransoms, you know, Griselda,
shoot, some of them was hyping
Riggs,
up
like Riggs, Mooch, and all these guys upstate New York because they bring back that what they love, you know what I'm saying? And like the newer guys are not doing that because. Like even like I agree with Don on this because they're not really listening to that. The younger kids not listening to that stuff. They listen to things that's why I don't feel regional to them because
if you let the company Reddit, everybody goes sound like they ain't.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, bro. It was.
I thought about that. Everybody will be over here. Lupe Fiasco with lyrical spiritual America. I don't want to hear that
because look, I like we could go into the New York sound thing, but with me, I feel like we're in a part. We're in a good place in hip hop where like everything's acceptable. Cause you have times that you don't want to listen to that. Be honest. Sometimes you don't want to listen to somebody going off like crazy lyrical. Sometimes you want to hear somebody like make you feel happy. Sometimes make you want to feel sad. Like I can listen to a navy blue. I can listen to a Maxo, or like Maxo, not Maxo Cream, just a Maxo, a Earl. If I want to feel some type of emotion, like sometimes it could be some depressing stuff, but it made me feel a way. It connected with me. Or I want to listen to Uzi, and like he made me feel a way. Like Love of Rage, like just jamming that stuff is feeling. It's a vibe. Music is a feeling. And sometimes you don't want to listen. How I'm gonna feel like, ooh, he's just going off, but it ain't really making me feel nothing. You know what I'm saying?
The New York rap, especially the Griselda sound, it's very stereotypical. Like it's very samey. Like they all rapping about the same thing,
So,
dang near.
like how drill can make you want to go kill. I can listen to Rock Marciano and it makes me want to go
steal.
No.
Oh.
It makes me want to just, even though it's like he on some pimp stuff, it just make you want to just like, man, let me go check on my hoes real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what they doing on the blade. You know what I'm saying?
Instrumentals.
Let me check on the blade. You know what I mean? So different artists, different regions, different sounds.
I think we need regional sounds
all that
back. I think we need them back more than ever.
We
still have them, but the South is reigning
Yeah.
like prevalent and heavily now. Really,
because it's still that traditional trap sound.
Heavy 808s. Yeah.
That's just been the thing because who can't rap on that? Who don't want to be on that?
And I wanted to make a point, so I can remember, because remember I texted you last night. I said that I think regional sounds kind of left after the blog era, because the blog era was the last era where everybody felt different. It felt like they was from their region. Big Chris sounded like he was from the South.
Yeah.
Dom Kennedy, Nipsey Hussle, they sounded like they was from the West. I'm trying to think of some East Coast rappers right now, but it's really
Joey Badass.
Yeah, Joey and all them. Pro Era, Capital Steez, the Underachievers. All them, they sounded like that.
Flatbush Zombies.
Goldlink, DMV.
DMV.
We had Rick Ross and all them. Rick Ross, I'm trying to think of who else was from Florida.
You had Mac Miller and Wiz doing their thing in Pittsburgh.
You could tell that they was taking from different regions.
But they had the California slang. But they made their own stuff to it, yeah.
That was the last time that we really had regional sounds, and they was all prevailing, and it all sounded different, and it all sounded great. I loved when I had a Nipsey Hussle song, and he would bring like Drake on there. I'm like, Drake on the West Coast song? Oh, I love, like, you know, back then, who was Kirko Bangs, and he like hook up with Paul Wall and them, pay homage to the older sound by getting an older artist on there, or Travis Scott getting Paul Wall on there, even though Travis Scott takes a lot from Atlanta.
And this also helped our hybrids too, because as you naming all these people with regional sounds, people from that era also came with different sounds as well in the blog era. Like you got A$AP Rocky, that's from New York, but also blended all these other different sounds with, like with the Memphis and Bone Thugs, Houston stuff. And then you got Tyler Creator that draws a lot of inspiration from Pharrell, Eminem, and all these people. So we're in an era now where it's like you said, it's like the after effect of the blog era pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And now like what Kendrick was trying to do is put on for his city, well, for his, his region or whatever, and like, he had some West Coast sounds on there. But I don't think that when he was going, it's like, I don't want every big artist to have a song like Not Like Us. But I was telling him that's not gonna happen. I'm telling him this, that won't happen, because West Coast had their moment that was already big. They haven't had a moment no more. This was Kendrick's moment.
Their last moment
was in the 90s. It was like the 90s. Yeah, but I'm talking about like with the sound, the G-Funk, all that. That was in the 90s. Like it had that. It already had that. I don't think nobody.
They tried to bring it back with Game. It didn't work out well.
But Game wasn't.
Well, no, I'm talking about West Coast in general. Yeah. West Coast music in general.
But because YG and like the Mustard had them a little around. You know what I mean? Mustard was everywhere.
In the blog era.
I'm talking about like Mustard was. He was hopping on the Mustard beats. Yeah. But that's all I'm saying. Like I just think that we still need regional sounds. Yes, it's not in this forefront anymore because everybody draws from.
And the internet makes us way too connected. It doesn't let us settle.
It's like same thing Tyler Creator said. Like we all using cap, and that's like Atlanta slang. But you still have stuff that's in your region that you say, like different accents, different things you people say still. Like you could probably add a little element from like saying cap, but you still say stuff around different things that's
DMV got Kilmo.
Or
Chilmo, whatever it's called.
Philly be saying John and all that stuff,
and we not saying.
And they all Muslims out there, like. With beards and stuff, talking about some Wahali. What they be saying?
Wallahi
and all that. So it's like it's different things. Like people say, like you grab stuff. Like you got people saying fine. And that comes from Laser Dim or whatever. Where he's from, like Atlanta somewhere.
That's where that comes from.
Yeah, I
think it was just from the young kids.
Yeah, it's Laser Zim or whatever his name is.
Laser Dim 700.
He's like fine thing, but like it's just. That's just a part of it now, but we still have regional sounds. It's just not at this forefront.
It needs to be.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about these 2005 albums from Houston, regional sound at its peak.
Man, shout out to Beyond Beats and Culture.